Hi folks, hope everybody's keeping well. Welcome to Martin's Kitchen up here in Ralstown. Very simple dish tonight. 4 main ingredients, but a few wee spices and bits and pieces, but it's just 4 ingredients. And it's a monkfish dish. So we've got lovely fresh monkfish. And we're going to serve it with Orzo Pasta. It looks like rice. The translation is barley in Italian, so that's why it sort of looks like this here, but it's lovely. It's different rather than spaghetti and all those other ones, you know, linguine. Try the orzo, and we're going to serve it with some chorizo. The vegetable is going to be pak choi, and I'm just going to sort of flavour it with sort of coriander. But use whatever herb you want. It doesn't have to be coriander. Use basil, use chives, use, you know, this is only sort of a basic, you know, 4 ingredients things. So you can go whatever direction you want. Some spring onions to go in with the pasta. And just some chili flakes to go with the pak choi. So, right, the first thing I'm going to do, the recommended amount per serving for an adult is 75 grams. I have 100 grams there. So what I've got on here is a pan of boiling water, so some salt in it, and a wee splash of oil. Doesn't have to be olive oil, but just a wee splash of oil. And I'm just going to turn the oven on to 180 degrees. Just to warm the fish at the end. So while the water is coming to boil, just the quick principle of this dish is we're going to cook the chorizo first, and it's going to release all the oils. We're going to lift the chorizo out, we're going to mix that with the cooked pasta, and then we're going to put the same pan back on again, heat it up, then we're going to cook the monkfish. Monkfish will take 2 to 3 minutes maximum to cook. We're going to cut it into wee sort of small pieces, wee collops as we call them, and then we're going to lift them out, and then we're just going to, in the same pan again, we're going to cook the pak choi. So, right, the first thing we're going to do, we've got the water on, so we'll do all the chopping first, and then that's everything done. So, spring onions, again, everybody can chop spring onion. So just chop your spring onion, put it at an angle if you want, just into the bowl, and we'll save them for later. So that's going to go into the pasta when it's cooked. And I say we're probably going to do this in real time, but I'm using coriander, my favourite herb. A lot of people don't like coriander, so use whatever you want, but I'm using coriander. I'm going to use plenty of it. So coriander, again, just fold up. Don't cut the stalks off the coriander. Just roughly chop it. Just put it in a wee bowl, and that's just going to go in at the last minute, just for that sort of freshness. So the water is nearly coming to the boil. And again, I say that's 100 grams. That's enough for one person. Pak choi is so simple. You can shred it if you want it. You know, that's entirely up to you. I'm just going to cut it down the middle. And that's it ready. We're just going to pan fry that in the pan with some chili flakes, a wee bit of salt, we knob of butter just to sort of baste it. So that's it. We've got coriander, spring onions, or vegetable cut. So now we're just going to, the chorizo. This is a cooked chorizo, and it's not spicy hot. You can get, there's loads, hundreds and hundreds of different types. So just what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the skin off this. So just peel off. I'm just going to cut it into sort of maybe 1/2 centimetre cubes. So I'm just going to cut it down in 3. And then cut it again. And this will cook quickly, but the oils that come out of this, you know, it's got flavour, and it's got the paprika, it's got garlic. The flavours are lovely, and you know, with monkfish it goes fantastic. So you don't want too small a dice. And I say I reckon there's maybe 70 to 100 grams on that. That was a 200 gram packet, and I've already used maybe just over half of it. So use as much as you want, or as little as you want. Again, it's entirely up to you. So that's the chorizo. I'll just use this here. Just going to check the water's boiling now. Yeah, the water's boiling, so I'm just going to put in, it's already salted, some water, 100 grams. I'll just give it one quick stir just so it doesn't stick. And that will take 7 to 8 minutes. So as that's cooking, we're just going to start the chorizo, the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to put on my frying pan. You want a good sort of non-stick frying pan. The monkfish, I say you could use any fish for this. You could use sea bass, you could use a piece of salmon, some mackerel would be lovely. But monkfish, when you buy it, it normally has a sort of membrane on it. And if you cook it with that, it can shrivel up, it can tighten up. So we're just going to take that off. If I can get this glove on. Right, and say this sort of membrane, you can see it there. I mean, there's a wee sort of, just runs down the back. There's no bones in this. You know, if you can imagine a monkfish, it's got 2 of them together and there's one big bone runs down the middle. So just take off that, you wouldn't even call it bone. There's what I mean with the sort of membrane. It's like a wee silver, shiny piece of skin. Just take that off. Again, it is important because it'll tighten up on you. So just clean that out. Just one more wee bit there. I say the pasta's probably had a couple of minutes, so that's good. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to cut this into sort of what we call collops. And it's probably 3 per person. That's in there. Just lovely wee. They do not take long to cook. So there's 3 of them per person. So we'll just season that up. Salt and pepper. Just malt and salt. I always like the malt and salt. Just a wee sprinkle. So that's virtually everything ready to go. So what we're going to do now, pan is really, really, really hot. And we're not going to add any oil to it. There's enough oil in here. And the smell in the kitchen when you cook chorizo is fantastic. So hot pan, and you have to hear that sizzle. That's so important. You want to hear that, and you can see it starting to smoke. Just give it a wee shake around. Don't take it off the heat. Just keep mixing it around. Just a couple of bits of didn't chop it. So we're just going to cook that for probably 2 minutes. It's not going to crisp up. I'll just turn that up a wee bit more. Hope you can hear it, but it's not going to crisp up, but it's going to go chewy in a nice sort of way. So you can see the oils that are coming out of that. That's where all the flavour is. You know, it's smoked paprika, there's spices in there, other spices, there's garlic. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook the monkfish in the same pan, and then the pak choi in the same pan again. So all the flavours are running through start to finish. You can see how much oil is coming out of this. And the smell is fantastic, it really is. That's not far off already. I mean, it's cooked anyway, but we're just sort of, I'm just going to taste a wee bit. Just love it. There's almost a sweetness to it as well. Let's say buy whatever chorizo you want, you get really spicy chorizo. That's ready. So I'm going to take that out. Pour the oil in there. But just keep that pan, don't wipe out your pan again. So put the pan back on the heat. Just go back. Put it transparent in there. Because that's still cooking, I don't want to crack the ball. So there's the chorizo. So what we're going to do now is the monkfish. And we're not going to overcook it. You don't want to overcook your monkfish. It ends like rubber. So hot pan, and one crucial thing we're not going to do, we're not going to start to flip it, turn it, look in below it. We're just going to put it in the pan, let it brown, get that nice crust, flip it once, and then we're going to lift it off. So hot pan, and again you have to hear that hissing. Just a wee sprinkle of salt on the other side. Turn the pan up, turn the heat up. So we're not going to move that. That's how quick this dish is, and again, it doesn't have to be monkfish. Lovely piece of salmon, piece of grilled chicken, pork chop, salmon, you know, just whatever you fancy. But the core of the sort of ingredients are, you know, pak choi rice, pak choi pasta and chorizo. I'm just going to try the pasta again. 1 minute, that's ready, then we're going to drain it. So I haven't turned that yet, and it's up to full heat. But if you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, it's starting to go white around the outside, and that's it starting to cook. I'm just going to actually put a wee tiny bit of the oil back in there. So this is the first time I've flipped these. And you see the colour? That's what you want. You don't want them to be pale. You have to have that colour. And that colour means flavour. If you don't have that colour, you know, you cook fish. So, pasta's ready. So I'm just going to drain the pasta. So I've got a small bit of water there, and the water is very starchy, so it's going to carry on cooking it. So that's the pasta. Looks like rice. So in with the chorizo. And that monkfish is now cooked. Just give that a wee mix. And you can see the colours in there. I'll show you. The colours are lovely. And it's silky. You know, there's a lovely texture to that Orzo pasta, especially with the oils. This sort of dish you want to serve in a bowl. So monkfish is ready. Just lift that out. And then what we're going to do is just a small, same pan, just a small bit of oil. And we're just going to, I'm going to cook, I'll cook both pieces. So put that in flat together. And then what we're going to do is just going to brown it. And then we're going to flip it over. We're going to add the chili flakes, season it up. And that's us ready to go. We will be nearly ready to serve. I'm just going to add a wee bit of oil in there for the chorizo. Don't throw those wee bits away there. There's always flavour in those. Okay, we'll mix this to sort of brown a wee bit. You can push it down. That's lovely. And what we're going to do now is we'll just spring onions in there. Again, you can use red onions if you want. So we're just browning this a wee bit. Just give it a flip over. You see that sort of, we're starting to go brown. Again, that's flavour. So just give it another sort of 30 seconds. We'll flip it over and we'll add, do it now, just add sort of small knob of butter in there. And you can see that sort of starting to foam. You just want a bit of colour on it. And the thing about pak choi is you don't want to overcook it. You want to sort of keep so it's got that crunch, nice and fresh. And any juices that come from the monkfish, just don't waste them, pour them into the pasta. So what we're going to do now is just flip the pak choi over, and you can see the char on it. And then just some chili flakes, just sprinkle them in. And salt and pepper. And that pak choi is now cooked. Salt and pepper. And just if there's any sort of butter or any juices, what we're going to do is just add a wee squeeze of lemon. And the lemon will sort of steam it. That's ready. Everything's now ready to serve. The monkfish is still nice. I'm just going to, there's more juices, so just pour them off. Don't waste them. Popping that in for 30 seconds and everything's ready. We'll just taste everything before we fill it up. Small pinch of salt. With the chorizo's up and down a lot. And I'm going to turn that off. And we're now ready to take. So, coriander last minute. So in a warm bowl. So everything's turned off. Monkfish is ready. So we'll just put it up now. So if you look at the colours in there, I mean you could add tomatoes in there, you could add peppers. Entirely up to you. But the chorizo and the spring onions and the oils from the chorizo, absolutely lovely. Monkfish, again just 3 pieces, and the pak choi. Just going to put 1 piece on here. And again, always to finish any fish dish, just a squeeze of lemon. Always sort of make sure you don't get any pips. It always sort of gives it a nice lift. A wee drizzle of olive oil, and then I like a lot of coriander, so just a sprinkle of coriander. And there you go. And always a clean plate. So that's it, everybody. Just it's so simple. I'm just going to get a nice bowl just to taste it. So I'm guessing that took 15 to 20 minutes. I might be told different, but it is so simple, and you could do different variations. Change the fish, change the vegetables, put different stuff in with the pasta. It's very smoky in here, so we're just going to give it a taste. And there's just proof that the monkfish is cooked. You know, it's white the whole way through. So we'll just try a wee bit. And the flavours in there are fantastic. And I'm not reinventing the wheel. Those flavours just go with each other. The pak choi, there's going to be a nice sort of texture to the pak choi. It's lovely. You know, the lemon just lifts it at the end. Chorizo's not too hot. Coriander just gives it a nice freshness. Monkfish's meaty just takes all the flavours. And that's it, everybody. But crucial, make sure your pan's hot. Don't have, I mean, if you look at the colour of the monkfish, it's a lovely colour. It's golden brown. You want that colour. If you don't have that colour, you know, your pan's not hot enough. So that's it. Orzo pasta with monkfish, chorizo and pak choi. Okay folks, hope you enjoy it, and we'll get another video up soon. Take care, bye.